Hello, everyone. Today I want to talk about the progress I made this year and generally where my collection log is right now and what's next up for hopefully 2026 and beyond. I recently watched the video I made last year. It was quite an interesting watch for sure. It's nice to hear that a lot of my mindset regarding the game and collection logging hasn't changed. I feel like I'm still doing what I want to do. Still loving this game, still love logging into this game. And it's definitely very important when it comes to playing this game, actually logging in and playing. And this year has been very generous when it comes to the luck that I've received, but we'll get into that shortly. Last year, I sort of set myself soft goals. Um, not really big fan of setting time specific goals for a year because that's not how RNG works. That's not how humans should work. If you play the game, you're already making progress, in my opinion. That being said, my general goal for this year was focusing pets, and I sort of set a soft goals of 50 pets. Um, Definitely achieved that uh, rather quicker than I expected. So there's that. And another goal of mine was to obtain and maintain the Gilded Collection Log staff because that was released this year. And yeah, we also got that covered. Other than that, I just think generally I just wanted to stack more master caskets, and that's still ongoing, obviously, but we'll get to that in a bit. Now, let's just get right into the collection log then. I will only be talking about the bosses or categories that I haven't greenlocked prior because there's not really any interest in me going over those again. If anyone is interested in hearing more from previous bosses, I'll link my old ramble or my old progress video of last year in the description. All right. The boss log has been green for quite a bit now. Well, not green, but it's getting greener. One of the bosses that I tackled this year, even quite recently actually, is Commander Zilyana. Um, Initially, I tried the 1+3 method, which was quite overwhelming with the tank constantly getting stomped in. So I just switched over to a 1+2, and that went pretty well. The boss itself, I mean, it's quite old, obviously. Um, it's all right. It was an okay grind. I think the worst part about it was definitely the bots that are just littered on every non-total world. Um, but yeah, just recently finished this one, and the only Godwas dungeon boss I actually went dry on, so pretty happy with this one. Next up, this is quite a huge one, and it's very present or recent because I just got the pet yesterday actually. This log is absolutely insane. If anyone still remembers from last year or even my Way to Swin ramble, Corp was not really on my list of content I wanted to do soon at all. But yeah, with luck comes a change of the route or a faster progress into content that I didn't expect yet. Anyway, absolutely insane spoon. I'm still in disbelief because Corp is such a huge like grinder log, and obviously I'm not quite done yet. My idea now is that I'm still gonna do a few more kills here and there, at least for these next few days, because obviously I was kind of preparing for a longer grind here, but I will return for the Elysian and the jar probably more down the line. My initial idea obviously was to keep this one as far away as possible until more power creep gets added. And I still think that with raids forward, there's a good possibility that this will get even easier. This year we got the horn from Yama, which also made this grind quite simpler if you're using alts. So yeah, uh, absolutely in disbelief. This is one of the most dreadful pets to get for any player, and getting it so early is definitely giving me a lot of hope for the alt pets grind next year. All right, next up, Dagannoth Kings. Um, quite an enjoyable grind, I would say overall. I only had Rex and Prime to do this year. Actually, a pretty good mix. One has been spooned, one's been about rate, and then Rex was over rate. It was quite a fast grind. With alts, it's, I don't know, maybe 85 to 90 kills per hour. I'm not sure. It did get a little boring after like 10, 12,000 kills. I was like, okay, let's wrap it up, guys. It's not really an exciting boss. I guess the most exciting part is killing bots or irons on my alts when I got crashed. So there's that. Yeah, but absolutely a huge one. Um, happy about this one. It's finally done. Doom of Mokhaiotl. This is obviously a new boss. I'm not the fan of this content. I'm just gonna say how it is. I'm definitely bad at it, as we can tell. I almost finished the whole log in the first week of its release. I only had the cloth left, and as you guys all know, this boss has had multiple updates, multiple hot fixes and bug fixes, and if you compare the initial boss to the Doom we have today, it's definitely quite a difference. This is definitely a boss that made me rethink new content and how I approach them because, yeah, as I said, it's just night and day. Doom was very bad on the first few days. Well, first week, I guess. But now it's, I guess, decent enough. I'm just not a fan of it. And the CAs, oh my god, the CAs were absolutely tragic. So didn't make it any better that I was really hard stuck on Perfect 2. Glad I got this fairly spooned because I don't think I would have enjoyed it at all if I had to do it even longer than that. Next up, General Graardor. Also, recently finished this one. I think this might have been the most fun boss grind that I've done this year. The alt effort with the 3 worlds is absolutely beautiful. I got like 83 kills an hour. Super smooth, super simple. One of my favorite alt methods I've done in this game. Now that I've tried most alt methods, I can really say that this is one of my definitely a top fiver for sure. But yeah, spooned. Um, we got the pet at like 2,380, but I was kind of attempting a day wreck. It was like the first weekend that I started this grind, and then I got the pet obviously very deep into the day wreck, and then I was like, I like this method, and usually I would never do this for any content, but I was like, okay, fine, let's do a couple more hours and then just move on from it. But yeah, it's really fun grind this one. Really short though, but absolutely take that. Next up, we have Kalphite Queen. Also fairly recently finished this one, maybe a couple months ago at this point. Also quite spooned. I did 1+6, and obviously I get a second pet going for the jar, so there's that. But yeah, not really much to say. Not super exciting boss. Alting made this decent enough for sure, but I would have gotten bored quite quickly with this one. I could already tell in the first few sessions. I did end up boosting a few buddies there, so definitely did more KQ than or more than enough KQ, I guess. Kuriara also, again, God of Dungeon and those have been acquired quite recently, so it's kind of funny that I'm already talking about these. So yeah, Kree I finished just before Bandos, just at the standard 1+1 method. Initially, when I started this grind this year, I did it on a Slayer task when I was still doing Shellbane Griffin, but after that was done, I just did, a good 80 to 100 KC sessions per day, and that was kinda all I could personally take because unlike Bandos or Zilyana, this one's just rough. Like, even with an alt, it's quite rough. It was good enough, and the best part, with how I approach grinds that I'm not too keen is that I set myself daily goals, and I will just do them. I will literally just go and do that and then call it. Might take forever for some. Thankfully for this one, didn't take too long at all. So yeah, that also wraps up Galvus Dungeon completely. Um, Fairly spooned on all of it. Only went over it. It's Zilyana. The Leviathan. For a change, a boss that I went over rate. Um, this one's pretty interesting. It was fairly early this year when I grinded this one out. I think it was April or March when I really started. I think it was with our badge comp. That should have been around March, and I got the pet in June, I'm pretty sure. When it comes to grinds like these, starting off, you're a bit naive and you're kind of like, oh yeah, almost on raid, Well, whenever you creep up to the raid, you're quite naive and then you're just there longer. So yeah, it took quite a while. I initially started doing maybe 80, 100 kills a day, but the higher the number the KC climbed up, the more eager I was and the more motivated somehow I got to even push more. So I started doing 150, 200 kills a day and definitely paid off. I actually don't mind this boss. I feel like I kind of liked it more afterwards because I was just getting used to the routine of just doing this boss every day. So that definitely helps. But I think after the 10K mark, I started to get a little burned-ish, you know? It's cool. You hit 10K, it's kinda, "Oh, damn, that's big," and then you're like, "Oh, I still don't have the pet. That might be a problem. I'm still doing this, okay?" But yeah, didn't take too much longer after 10K. Super happy with this one. Quite the grind, but definitely deserve some humbling from all the spooning. Next up was Nex. Wow, I started this boss, I think after I got GM with the KC reduction as etc. And it was shortly after Doom as well. And oh my god, look at this log. Yeah. Um I started doing FFA trios early on, made quite a lot of money from those, even though the prices aren't that good anymore compared to back then, but the amount of spooning definitely equalized that very easily. And after I did a lot of FFA trios, I did a lot with Brown Tree and Lucid and absolute gamers. They kind of fully carried me. Not really a fan of this boss at all, but those trios were really decent. Like we pushed sub 4 minutes, and they're super efficient, like way more efficient than me, and super fast with regearing banking. So it was a decent grind overall. I was just getting tired of it because yeah, this boss is just not super fun. It's cool, but you know, this was basically also Gold Wars Dungeon, so Gold Wars Dungeon is fully completed. The Nightmare, for a change, a not green locked boss. I've only done 5 kills this year here, and that was after the drop rate changes, and I received the income actually, so that was kind of funny. I haven't been back there since the whole face removal thing, but I think I'm gonna tackle Nightmare very soon here. I'm kind of hoping that Raids 4 will have something to do with elemental damage or crush, so I'm not going all out on it yet, but yeah, eventually I'll have to tackle this one because it's not like I have a huge variation on what's left. This actually is the most I have left for any boss on the boss section for items. Next up, Royal Titans. I don't really have much to say about this. I got the pet on the second day of release, so yeah, super spooned. Um, it has a decent gameplay loop. Like I don't mind it, but it's a duo boss, which means you kind of have to knock this one out rather fast because getting a team now is probably quite impossible. Also, mid game boss that drops the leak loose for some reason, sure. Shelbane Griffin, also a mid game boss that drops elite, by the ways. Um, recently got this pet. Not really much to say. The 1+1 method was very fun, you know, specking with claws twice per kill and then siphoning a few times. The boss is dead. It was basically a Mokhaiotl on a task. Um, by the way, horrible the fact that it has a task and you can't even, or it's task locked and you can't even extend the task. So, uh, yeah, Jagex, please. Let's not do that again. Next up, Vardorvis. This was the last DT2 boss I tackled after Leviathan. Got this one fairly quick after Leviathan as well because I was just super excited for the change of scenery, and the 1+1 method was very fun and decent, so knocked this one out pretty fast. Not really much to say. I think everyone kind of loves Vard. Pretty fun boss, generally. Next up, Vorkath. I've only done this boss sort of early on this year. We had a boss of the week, and I don't know, have I done this one in a comp maybe? I'm not sure, but I know I've done most of my KC this year in the boss of the week, and I received the Vorky pet, which was very nice. I'm actually gonna return to this one fairly soon, I think. Vorkath is great filler content. Vorkath is also great comp or badge content. So, and the Skelly visage is quite rare, so I probably got a lot of KC to fill. Um, it's kinda chill to go for Vorkath. Really looking forward to it for something that is not like alt heavy or I don't know, complex like Doom or whatever. Just a very old school-ish boss where you just click boss and yeah, looking forward to it sort of. Whisperer, this was very early. I think after Sura I started doing this one. I don't like this boss, but I didn't have to do too much of it, thankfully. Yeah, not really much to say. It's Whisperer. Wintertodt. Um, it's kind of funny looking at it. Still having a pet left when I'm so deep into pet hunting. The idea about this one is I actually did around 10 KC this year just to check the warmth meter and just see if this is gonna be my next grind. But I sort of got convinced and or convinced myself that I want to get 200 mil fire making first through shades, so I get the X15 bonus for the pet. Because I mean the solo method is fine, but if you have to or if we look at it in a macro way, I'm obviously gonna do shades down the line because besides Callisto, that's the only real viable Eliglu method. So I'm at 103 mil XP right now. And now that I've done quite a lot of bossing related pets, and this is one of the 3 pets I have left, I have to actually go quite hard on shades now. Like I'm gonna try to do quite a bit daily, so I can actually do Wintertodt to push for this pet. But yeah, I don't think it's gonna be a problem. I'm literally halfway there. I can finish the 100 mil sometime this year, hopefully sooner than later. Yama also released this year. I actually like this boss. I think the Dono Fly or Mono Fly method made this super fun. If it was only the mage method, I probably wouldn't have enjoyed it because it's kind of boring. But the Dono Fly method was very fun. Problem with this pet is, or well, with this boss is the pet, and the pet you can really only viably get through the contracts, and it's kind of a fear of missing out because if you haven't gotten this one yet, it's gonna be quite hard to find teams now, I assume. Also, we did the chicken method back then, which has also been nerfed. So there's that. I've done most of my KC with a buddy, he plays a Gim account, and it's like the only content we could really realistically do because our accounts are quite in a different stage. So shout out Rook was pretty fun doing all those KCs together. Sura. This was actually the first pet I got this year. This was the 40th pet that I received. Few days before that, I got the 10th mutagen as well. I really enjoy Sura. I'm gonna leave this one sort of open because Sura is great filler content, just like Vorkath, really. It's great filler content, it's great comp content, so it's always nice to have bosses like that, and the mutagen could take quite a while, so maybe also have a lot of filler content to go for. But yeah, really enjoyable boss. And now we're talking about raids. I have barely done any CMs this year. I think I've done around 180, maybe less even. I've only done this raid very early on when Lone Jim Red was still going for his cape, did quite a bit with Ginny and LGR. I'm not really the biggest fan of this content, but that doesn't really matter because Ohm is one of the 3 last pets I have left. So next year, I will be doing a lot more CMs. Um, the problem with CMs with me is I usually only did it with comms, on comms, and then never really went back. Like, it was definitely a bad relationship with this raid because it's one weekend where you go super hard and do like 20 a day, and then you just don't do any for months. So I always forget what I'm supposed to do in that raid. And but yeah, um, also quite a good timing because Raids 4 will be eventually released. Maybe not next year, but definitely in the next 1.5, 2 years, maybe even sooner. So getting started with a lot of KC at this content is gonna be very vital. So because with Raids 4, I'm sure there's gonna be even less teams doing this content, and I feel like CMs are already a little unpopular in that regard. Clues. I finished Easy Clues this year. I only had this team cape left. Took me 900-ish Easy Clues this year. So yeah, almost on raid, but I got quite spooned on those mangroves, as you can tell. Easy clues are fast and fun, so definitely was a very nice grind to go for, to be honest, on a main at least. But yeah, glad that this one is done as well. Hard clues. I just recently got back to doing hard clues, but I also stopped myself because I was having too much fun and not doing content that I wanted to do or should be doing more, let's say that. I've opened 1,500 caskets this year, and I received 3 clogs, and I'm only missing the semi-dehyde shield. I'm kinda got a little addicted to them, and I wanted to do much more than I have done, but it's okay. I think once I'm done with shades, when I have 200 mil fire making, I will replace that void with more hard clues. And for mains, especially now, with Magpie emblems being lit, I was gonna say cheap, but they're literally profit right now. Um, This is a no-brainer. Mains should really get on it, and hard clues is super fun. So yeah, and a great source for master clues as well, by the way. Elite clues. I opened 650 this year. This collection log is very spooned. I have 7 out of 10 tax pieces. I got 2 new unique tax pieces this year, and I also finished all common items here. Um, there's still couple hundred more to come from the Shades grind, so next year I will still have quite a good amount of elite clues. Let's see how many more I can get, but regarding tax, I'm already very spooned, so not sure. Regarding Ring of Nature and Lava Dragon Mask, I have none yet, so maybe I can get one of these next year as well. Master clues, I have done, or I have opened 0 master clues this year, so I have nothing to talk about here. But I'm currently stacking another 500 masters, and I'm at around 390. So the opening and the hunt for the Bloodhound will continue next year. This is also quite interesting because if I don't get Bloodhound in the next 500 masters, I don't know what I'm gonna do for the Bloodhound. So maybe this is the one that locks me out of all pets. We shall see though. Um, yeah, I only got 2 gilded pieces this year. No third age still. Maybe this will change next year. Quite unlucky for third age now. This is complete nonsense. Please remove bloat from the collection log. Minigames. Wow, this okay. Starting off with the most important one, probably. This is the most important spoon of my account. At the start of the year, I think Snooska and Linny were going for BA logs, and I was like, okay, yeah, sure. I need to get started with this slowly. Um, and then, kind of in the clan, the BA groups popped off. Darksean started doing his daily BAs, and I think everyone's pushed BA until he was done. I know in Petcourt, Double Healer got quite a lot of attraction as well, but yeah, really spoons. But my idea was to do just daily gambles, maybe like 3 to 4, maybe 2, 3, 4 gambles a day. Had solid teams, had I didn't have to manage any teams. That was perfect for me. Perfect. I got quite spooned though, so there's that. But yeah, shout out to the clan, shout out to Dark for setting everything up. Super happy with this one. Barracuda trials, I don't know why this needs to be in the log. Those are all one-off collection logs. Yeah, I don't like Barracuda trials. Don't have really much to say. Um, Last man standing. Yeah. We're thankfully very soon closing in on completing this. Most of this, most of these wins have been ethical. Just only a very little bit of it has been boosted, but yeah, mostly just abusing bots as much as I can. It's This is such a frustrating grind. Some days or weeks you have super easy, super nice bots, and then the next week you got Terminators and sweaty collection loggers. So yeah, kind of a hit or miss, but my idea is basically doing 2, 3 wins a day. Doesn't work every day because sometimes it's just a waste of time, really. Kinda just vibe check or heat check every day, every other day if I can't be bothered, and see if a few wins are possible, and slowly but surely it adds up. Yeah, but this is basically the only minigame that's holding me back from completing all minigames, but we'll get there. At this point, I'm not too concerned anymore. I've done almost 700 wins this year, so yeah, pretty decent. This was done very early this year. Last year, I said, I don't know why this content has a pet. This year, I'm gonna say, I don't know why this content has a pet, but thankfully I'm done. Just a little overrate, but yeah, terrible content. Veil totems, not really much to say about this one. This one only took 3, 4 hours. It's okay, I guess. Volcanic Mine. I only needed the broken dragon pick, and this was actually the first collection log of this year. I got it on January 1st. So yeah, pretty cool. Very nice to get this one. I think it was maybe 108 chests or whatever they're called. So pretty happy about this. The other section, quite a lot of bloat and fluff and nonsense has been added here, especially recently with sailing. Let's start with the pet section. Kind of went over it already for the most part, only missing 3 more. I've gotten 25 pets this year, which is just absolutely absurd. It's truly insane to be this close to getting all pets, though some are scary enough to not make that dream too close yet, but we shall prevail, we shall play the game, we shall get there regardless. But yeah, super happy with the progress. Actually, insane how far I've come with this account at this point. Boat paints. Uh, let's start with all the sailing bloat already, right? Some of these are interesting. Inky paint, FOMO content with the Kraken save spot. These graphics and Celadon. I don't know why these are on the clock. Servers paint. I don't know what's wrong with Jagex, but what are we doing with these insane raids? I still have to go for the Anglers paint. I still have to do quite a lot of trawling actually. I've just not really enjoyed it much after the first two were done. We discovered that you don't have to adjust the depth for the big fish, so that's huge at least. Maybe I will return to trawling soon due to this information, though I was quite or I'm quite okay with just waiting even more. Maybe some QOL happens because the interface is terrible. Then again, we don't have to adjust the depths, and apparently there's also a plugin, so I haven't checked that one out yet. Might do that the next few weeks or sooner than I thought. And then it's only the Merchant's Paint, which I will just get after Angler's Paint. What was next? Lost schematics. Yeah, guys, what are we doing? What are these collection logs? This is 10 clocks. Ah, I don't know. Please stop adding bloat to this game, please. Same with this one. I mean, I get it. There's supposed to be random events on the ocean, but 11? Really? Do we need 11 goodies whilst trawling? These have like no, like at least random events have some charm and nostalgic purpose, but This is just nonsense. Guys, what are we doing? It's like 40 logs from sailing that are just absolutely nonsense. Random events, obviously still missing one of the hardest collection logs in the game. Sailing Miscellaneous. Um, yeah, I got most of it fairly spooned. Again, I don't know why half of these even have to be on the collection log, because since when are materials on the collection log? And I know someone's gonna point something out that I missed, but yeah. Bottled Storm, fairly lucky, as well as the Inky Paint. Forgot to mention that. And 2 Dragon Cannon Barrels. I'm sorry to all the irons, but also, what is Jagex doing with these raids? Oh well. Sea Treasure, more collection log bloat, because the medallion needed 8 pieces, because 4 pieces would obviously not be enough. That being said, salvaging saved sailing. Thank you for that. I finished skilling pets this year. I received Terran, Shin, Giant Squirrel, Rocky, and Soup, actually. Aaron was very early on from Karam once, and then I got a dupe at 2 tick sharks. And Chinchompa, funny enough, when I was working on alts, I did a very cooked method where you just set up 2 traps and at red chins, and you just click whenever they're ready, because I was so out of AFK grinds, and as cooked as this was, like, I think I caught like 45k chins like that. So I worked on a lot of alt content whilst doing that. I did actually get the pet at Black Chins though, fairly underrated. I think maybe like 45k red chins and then 10k black chins. So yeah, a pretty fun method though. The 1+1 in the wildy with black chins and tick manip. Quite fun. Giant squirrel. Um, only needed 4k laps for this pet, so fairly spooned. I take that. Really hated the penguin agility course at the start, but I kinda got eased into it more when I realized that this is kind of the only sort of chill, or one of the only sort of chill content I have left, just running penguin laps. Quite a frustrating course though. They could definitely make that one nicer. I got Rocky very early on this year as well. Just that trainer stalls took me maybe one evening or so. Not really much to add there. And I got soup from salvaging before 99 actually. Kinda happy that it didn't have to concern myself with port tasks, so that's pretty cool. And less time spent on a boat, so we absolutely take that. Slayer, I already had green locked. They just added a few Volamore and sailing stuff. Nothing relevant to add here. Miscellaneous. I used to have this one green locked. Obviously, as I mentioned, I still have to work on these big fishes. Maybe sooner than later. We shall see. Why do I have 33 big sharks? Because of this guy. I think I've now opened 342 moon chests. Initially, I did 2 tick sharks when we kind of had this FOMO that it gets nerfed, but Jagex just completely doesn't care about this collection log at all. So good for us, I guess. We can abuse sharks and ice fiends. I'm mostly just taking it very slow with this one. This is my only true AFK clog I have left. And every day, basically, I'm either at sharks or at ice fiends. I will reach the rate next year for sure. if I don't get the clock before. So hopefully I get it soon because, yeah, would be nice to move on, even though I'm not even on rate, which is ridiculous, by the way. That is the collection log section, though. Again, amazing progress made. Some of my recent logs, absolutely amazing. Honestly, we can tell that we're getting to a stage where, well, we are at a stage where clues are the majority of my collection logs left. So that's gonna be interesting going forward. How I'm gonna tackle that whole spiel whenever I get there. But yeah, right now mainly working on pets and hopefully make a decent dent into CMs as well. I guess I'll go over my bank. As I said last year, it's not really that exciting because I'm a main. Doesn't really matter what I have. For archival reasons, it's nice to look back at them. So let's see what we got. I don't think I've changed too much on the layout. Um, Here's the 390 caskets, by the way. So next year we should be opening these. Just runes and teleport stuff in this one. Food and potions in this one. This is basically my loot tab. I also recently added all these clue related items because it was always annoying to either sell them after every opening or drop them. So with sailing, we got a lot of bank space, so I just might as well just leave them in the bank here. This is sort of kind of a fashion and random untradeable item tab. Oh, I should actually get this jar into the POH now. I'm kind of just holding the echo shards. Maybe we'll get God Wars Dungeon 2 one day, so yeah. This is kind of the skilling tab. Some shades keys here, so looking forward to open these soon. Here's this whole trawling mess. I'll get back to that soon, I guess. PVM items, just random stuff. This is the main prestige tab, I guess. Really like looking at this. All my pets are here, as well as some cool untradeable things. Radiant was absolutely terrible. I think I might have the highest sensory clouding count in the game. Um, but yeah, this collection is beautiful to look at. It's kind of sorted on the date where I got them, basically. So yeah, very recently Corp. And this is my gear tab. Don't think a lot changed here. I got GM for the first time. Not really sure how I feel about GM because you're just never done with it, and I hate chore upkeeping stuff. So, but yeah, it was definitely nice to at least get it once on the account. And that basically wraps up the year. I'm quite happy with the progress I made. I hope to keep up decent pace next year as well. Definitely less variety when it comes to content, but it's okay because as I mentioned, I'm really looking forward to clues or I'm really looking forward to hard clues. Let's say that. So hopefully can do more of that next year. Really enjoy this game still, really love logging in, love learning new things. Now that I've done a lot of alt methods as well, it's nice that I've seen what I can do and where my limits are, where I'm like, okay, nah, this method is not for me, or this content is not for me. Let's take it easy. Let's approach it differently. As I kind of said in my ramble about way to win, or my idea about goals is, if you log in, if you okay, wait, I got a better way to put it. Do it your way, do every content your way, but actually do it. If you're not efficient, if you're getting zero point 0.5 rates, 0.7 rates, or even worse, if you log in and if you actually do it, you're doing it and you will get it done. That being said, I think that's all. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye bye.